Welcome back to American Arms Channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Drake.
And I'm Evie, and this is the 1022 carbon fiber.
And this is Evie's first 22. So we're going to break it in tonight by taking a look at it brand new out of the box, get it on paper, and we're going to let Evie have a ton of fun plinking some steel at 50 yards. Let's get right into it.
Now for some reason.
This content is brought to you in part by 308 Precision Armory. More than a gun shop, 308 Precision Armory and Hey Honey Boutique are an experience. You can find the finest in women's apparel and footwear, grab a delicious coffee or refreshment, and peruse a diverse selection of firearms, ammunition, and accessories. As a Class 3 SOT and silencer shop powered dealer, 308 Precision Armory can handle any and all of your NFA item transfer needs. Visit them at 1537 M Street, Ord, Nebraska, or find them online at Armory 308 and HeyHoneyBoutique.com.
Well, folks, before we get right into it, let's take a look at the feature set of this Ruger 1022. Now, this is probably the lightest Ruger 1022 that you can get your hands on in a rifle variant that's non-SBR'd or not a pistol variant like the 1022 Chargers. So you've got a full carbon fiber barrel that has standard 22 caliber threading on the end of it. You have actually an aluminum rail, and you've got kind of a die-cast looking receiver. I initially thought to get the weight that they were going with a polymer with a skeletal frame, but nope, they've got some form of a die-cast that's super thin. It's in a Magpul MOE X22 stock set, so you have your M-LOK rails up at the top to put on your bipod or whatever accessory you feel like. You've got sling swivels molded in, and it's incredibly lightweight. Without an optic, this thing's coming in at just about 5 pounds or under. So with this red dot, it's right at it. It's a super lightweight, handy little 22. So with that 16-inch barrel, should give everything you need out of a 22 for target plinking and varmints. And of course, you can put a suppressor on it, which we may do with some subsonics here tonight. We're going to get started by zeroing the gun and see how she performs over the course of maybe this whole pile of rounds. Evie's pretty good on the trigger and really is addicted to plinking steel plates downrange. So we'll probably see her burn up in excess of 300 rounds. But it's 22, so who cares? Let's get right into it.
Sight-in was relatively quick and easy, and once we were on paper and pretty well zeroed, Evie took to shooting some prairie dog and ram silhouette targets as well as plinking the steel. She very much enjoyed the 22 and burned through quite a few rounds on this range session.
Yep, you're empty. Drop your mag. Put a new one in. Push it hard.
Go it. Go. Go.
In the rifle like this. You need your thumb. Push it in. There you go. Now you can charge it. Nope. There you go. I think we need to drop a little bit of oil on it.
While the extended magazine release is very much appreciated on this model, and I think is a fantastic addition to any 10/22, I will say that it was a bit stiff and it made getting the standard 10-round magazines into the gun a little bit more difficult for Evie. But with the right technique, you can push them in pretty quick.
Keep trying.
Oh.
All right, put your safety on. Okay. Good job. More magazines right here.
So I guess the allowance doesn't apply when it's a YouTube video.
No, the allowance applies. You've just built up a lot of allowance because you haven't shot since we bought it. So you have like 400 rounds because it's 100 rounds a week is your allowance.
So I have 4 packs of those.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
As you can tell, my daughter's pretty excited to learn that she gets a 100-round sleeve of 22s per week and that she can save them up as her allowance. But everything over that, she has to earn some money to pay for her own ammo and accessories. We threw the suppressor on it, Silencer Co. Omega 300, just for fun, put some subsonics in it. She actually didn't like shooting those subsonics and said, you know what, I like making the crack. I like breaking the sound barrier, which I found very comical. And we enjoyed plinking with it quite a bit. At least I did, suppressed. Now, I put it on paper here just to see what we could get done with this red dot with a 25-shot group using CCI mini-mag targets. Those are 40 grain rounds, and the distance is again 50 yards. Now, a note on reliability for this range session. Primarily we use CCI mini-mags, the 40 grain plated round nose, and they were perfectly reliable. Out of 200 plus to 250 rounds, we didn't have a single choke out of any of the factory or aftermarket Ruger magazines. And only with the old Federal, Aguila, and Winchester bulk pack rounds I had brought out just to play with did it have an issue. And suppressed, it was perfectly reliable as well with quality ammo.
All right, here we are, shooting at the center bullseye at 50 yards with a red dot and fading light using CCI mini mag, 40 grain, copper plated, round nose, just run of the mill, decent quality plinking rounds, 25 rounds. Ignore these two, they were already on the paper, but I failed to mark them. So we've got a pretty dang good cluster, and I think most anybody would be pretty dang happy with that given iron sights or a red dot at 50 yards, especially in fading light. So there's probably a pretty good accuracy potential with match grade ammunition or match grade hunting ammunition, if you want to call that. I don't think such a thing really exists for 22 long rifle, but it's definitely more than acceptable for plinking, and with a magnified optic would probably be perfect for hunting. It's definitely a fantastic, lightweight, handy little carbine. Well, my daughter didn't want to be on camera any longer, and the fading light has ended our shooting session this evening. First, let's see, 350 to 400 shots out of the Ruger 10/22 carbon fiber, and I think it's a winner. While you do have a polymer trigger housing, you have an enhanced mag release that you can use your finger or your thumb, and it definitely makes dropping 10/22 mags a heck of a lot easier, and most of the factory 10-shot mags are drop free when you hit that release. The threaded carbon fiber barrel works fantastic with a suppressor, as we saw. Obviously a 22 long rifle specific suppressor would be more appropriate, but the Omega 300 fit the role for tonight using plated ammunition and a couple of subsonics, which were quite fun, but of course it does increase blowback, and my daughter didn't really like that. So we'll probably leave it unsuppressed for the most part. You've got a nice optic rail that is actually alloy and not plastic. Overall, just super, super handy. Honestly, I could see myself nabbing this from my daughter once or twice this hunting season just to take it out for a little woods walk, since it is so dang handy, and I am pretty well convinced her mother's gonna really like this rifle too. So if you're looking for something that is suppressor compatible or muzzle device compatible, gives you a really lightweight hunting rig and 22 long rifle, and is familiar with the standard Ruger 1022 pattern, I think this is pretty fantastic. This is somewhat sponsored content by 308 Precision Armory, because Dustin, yet again, provided this at near cost, and he is a good friend. So I do want to put that out there, but nothing's been supplied regarding ammunition or products from any manufacturers. So this is our honest opinion. My daughter thinks that this is a pretty fantastic little 22. She's pretty well in love. And one thing I noticed over earlier generations of 22s and different models that I've handled, the trigger is just beautiful in this for a 22 long rifle. It's got a little bit of a not so great reset, kind of mushy, but then you get a click, but there's a nice little take up. You hit a little bit of a wall and then it breaks at about 4 pounds. So that's pretty nice for a 22 out of the box. I'm not going to say this is a match grade rifle, but it does seem capable of good groupings. I will say on that 25 shot group too, we did have the thread protector loosen up, and it was just floating there on the thread, so that could have or could have not impacted the group size. I don't know. I think it's mostly ammunition, and the fact that I'm using a red dot, a magnified optic, would help, and we might put one on this to try later with some targets focused match ammunition. Anyhow, it's about dark because the cloud cover's rolled in. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, God bless, keep your powder dry. I'll see you in the next video.